Hello everybody and welcome to another video here on the Heezy Game Media YouTube channel. I'm Heezy and today we are talking about my must-play games. Top 5 must-play games, that is. Before we get into that, I want to give you a fun fact about the game Red Dead Redemption 2. The reason that we're even doing this video. Upon release of Red Dead Redemption 2, the real-life Pinkerton Detective Agency actually sued Rockstar. I thought this fact was really fun and mind-blowing because if you've played the game, I don't know that it paints the agency in that bad of a light. It certainly paints the Wild West in a bad light, but it was really interesting to kind of see that and learn that there were real-life consequences for using a real-life detective agency. Anyway, I thought that was fun. I wanted to drop a fun fact about Red Dead Redemption 2 because it is the reason for this video, but I want to get into the video. Before we do, though, don't forget to head on over to patreon.com/HeezyGameMedia if you want to support this channel, the show, stuff like that. The podcast has gone bi-weekly. We missed a week as well as losing an episode, so it's been a while, and I really appreciate the people who have reached out to ask about it. I will be doing these videos bi-weekly again to kind of offset the podcast that is missing, so you should get weekly content, but patreon.com/HeezyGameMedia is a place to support us, and if you have any feedback on how we can improve that, it's been a while, and we're happy to hear any feedback and all feedback that will improve that for you and help you enjoy this content more and create more bonus content and things like that. If you want to support the show, the best way, though, it's actually not even giving us $1. The best thing to do is just leave a like, leave a comment here on this video, and then smash that subscribe button. It helps this channel a ton, and it helps the show a ton. But let's get into my top 5 must-play games and Red Dead Redemption 2. So let's talk about why this video. When Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, I had an engineer on another team in my department, a software engineer who took PTO to play this game, and I was like, that is an intense thing to do. And everyone I ever talked to told me, like, Spencer Howland, you would love this game. You would love it so much. Like, you need to play it. And I was just like, well, I haven't played the first one. They're like, you don't even need to play the first one. It's a prequel. You need to go play this game. Fast forward a little bit in time, and I play Magic the Gathering tournaments where there's, like, cash prizes, you know, like $1,000 to $3,000 cash prizes locally. And pretty often when you go to those tournaments, the stores will give out extra money if you take score credit. And so one tournament that I won, the store was kind of trying to cut back on its number of video games that it sold, and so they had some pretty good deals. So I took credit to get a bunch of stuff, and one of my friends was like, Spencer, you have to get this game right now. So I got it. I remember downloading it onto my Xbox, like the 2 discs that it took to put onto my Xbox One, which I have like an OG Xbox One, not a huge hard drive. So it took a lot. I had to delete a lot of stuff. I just remember the first time loading the game, the first time playing it, and just my mind being blown instantly. The game really changed my opinion about what video games could do or be. And kind of before we get really far into Red Dead, I want to talk about other video games that I think did that in a lot of ways for people, and especially did it for me. But yeah, let's break down my top 5 must-play games. Before we get into this is a subjective video. I would love to see your top 5. I'm sure that some of yours didn't make my list, and that's awesome. So don't think that I'm like shorting anything. I'll probably actually mention some of yours as I mention some of the games. For example, the first game on my list is actually Super Mario World, and some people might be surprised that it's not Super Mario Bros. 3 or Mario 64 or even Mario Odyssey, because let's be honest, mainline Mario games, a lot of them did change video gaming. And while I do think that, you know, Mario Brothers 3 did a lot of what Super Mario World does, I just think that Mario World does a lot of it better. And I don't know that I had that opinion at a younger age. It probably wasn't until I recently replayed them all on my Switch that I actually had this opinion. At my old apartment, we actually just had a Super Nintendo lying around with, you know, I think we had Mario All-Stars, Super Mario World. We had a bunch of games, and, you know, we would, you know, party all night, get drunk, play these games. And Super Mario World is an interesting one because I think that it really builds upon what the other mainline Mario games did really well. I mean, this game came out November 21, 1990. And in all honesty, I think this game really holds up. Like, I know that a lot of people credit Mario 3 as like the best 2D Mario game, but honestly, I think it might be this one. Obviously, Mario 3 is a little bit different in what it's trying to do, and this game is, I don't know, more story driven. I don't know if that makes sense, but it often felt like this game delivered on a lot of different things, from the Star Worlds to the different paths you could take to get to the end game to, 100%ing this game. There's just a ton in this game. Like, just the sheer size of Super Mario World was really surprising. And like many of you, like, I've played almost all of the mainline Mario games. I didn't own a Wii U, so it took me a while to play Mario 3D World because I had to wait until it came to the Switch. And honestly, I haven't played Galaxy 2, and you can actually watch the first time that I play Galaxy on my Switch as the first time I play Galaxy on here. But overall, I think that the mainline Mario games are great, and I think this game is fast-paced, has a ton of secrets, really fun gameplay, and I think that honestly, not just for me, but I think for a lot of people, this game actually defines what I want from a 2D Mario game. And obviously, if you like more difficult stuff, I think Mario Maker games do a really good job of like letting people build stuff and things like that. But for me, if you want to understand what 2D Mario is about, I really think this game knocks it out of the park. Next on my list is KOTOR 1 and 2. So, you might ask, why both? And honestly, for me, it's because I think the stories are pretty connected. And I think that the second game, even though it isn't finished, technically, if you've played it, you'll understand what I mean. You should really play both. You get a lot of perspective about the first game. You get a lot of understanding of the scale of what happened to lead to the first game. I think that they're pretty connected. And so why is it a must play? It's funny to me personally that KOTOR is probably the most defining RPG of all time because it's a Star Wars game. But I want to talk about a few things around it being a Star Wars game and why I believe that it's the most defining RPG of all time. So first of all, let's talk about the Star Wars thing. I think that you could literally remove Star Wars from this game and remove the lightsabers and just have them have, like, I don't know, another form of laser sword or actually, you literally could just place this in Aragon world. Like, place this in Allegasia. Make it an Aragon game instead. I think basically if you could just make sure that you have the powers you need, whether it doesn't even have to be like Force Lightning, just like some form of magical powers, some form of melee and ranged combat, the same story. I think that, in all honesty, it would still just be one of the best games ever made. It's that good. I think it helps that it's Star Wars. I think that it gives people a base that's pretty easy to understand. A very wide audience enjoys Star Wars. And in all honesty, I know a lot of people that didn't even like Star Wars that were told that they should play this game and liked Star Wars more because of this game. Like I said, I think the story defines how good an RPG story could be. Like, just straight up, I think the story is unparalleled. I think that even Mass Effect 1, which I think has the best Mass Effect story, Mass Effect 3, is really good too. And I think that even there are so many RPGs with great stories, but this story is the best story of any RPG I've ever played. And obviously, like, you can get into like 80-hour RPGs and like way larger, right? Like Witcher 3 or I don't know that Dragon Quest games have like the best stories, but they have good stories and like they're really fun games. This game, the story is unreal. I think that's why people were so upset that 2 kind of got ruined, because the story was so engaging. It built upon so much. So next is the mechanics. I think that combat, having this hybrid turn-based, real-life, auto battle, live action, like it's very different. It definitely does take some getting used to, but once you get it lets you enjoy the game the way you want to enjoy it. Whether you just want it to be on auto battle, especially in the second one, like you can just make your units do certain support roles, play your character. It's very nice, very enjoyable. I think the mechanics for combat are quite good. I think the morality system, well, I've played a lot of games with the morality system, and I don't think this is the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I think I Googled it while writing these show notes. I do think that KOTOR felt the most natural as far as morality system goes. Like, it made the most sense. It changed the way the game played the most. And I'm a big fan of these systems. I think they make the game more enjoyable. I think that the way that they impact the narrative of the game and things like that, make really increase replayability. And I think this game does it really great. Next up is leveling, and I think that this game also, you know, you can be as complex, just like the combat system. You can be as complex or as easy as you want. You can completely auto level all your characters. You can really customize your characters into whatever you want them to be. And yeah, I think it's pretty great. And then overall, I think the impact of this game is staggering. I think RPGs are completely different because of this game. And the reason for that is probably because of its impact on games like Mass Effect. Like, just Mass Effect, I don't know exists without this game, and RPGs aren't the same without Mass Effect. Thus, I mean, here's the thing, I'm often made fun of, and I'm sure I'll get some comments about this, how the Beatles are the most overrated band of all time. They're great. They're probably the most impactful and influential band of all time, but that doesn't make them the best band of all time. This game, in my opinion, is one of the greatest games ever made, if not the greatest game ever made. But it also, in my opinion, is one of the most impactful games to RPGs. And that's pretty cool. So it's like the Beatles of RPGs in a lot of ways. Go figure. Next on our list is Breath of the Wild. This is another one where there's a lot of different games that could have taken this spot. I think as far as action-adventure games, Ocarina of Time comes to mind. I think that lots of the Zelda line games come to mind. A Link to the Past is another one. I think that, in all honesty, why this is a must-play is for a long time, while this spot would have been taken probably by Ocarina of Time, I think that this game changed the game. Like, I think that the number of people who want Breath of the Wild version of their favorite games now is a lot of people. They want that. They want the crafting system. They don't want the weapons breaking system. Obviously, this game has its faults, but it really improved upon the action adventure game. Like, this game, you can do as much as you want, or you can beat it in, an hour and a half. It's funny because I hear a lot of complaints that it's too open. People don't know where to go or what to do. Go get a guide. Like, it'll tell you what order to do the beasts in. You can do them in that order, and you will thoroughly enjoy your time. I think this game is great. I think that it improved so much upon just what these type of games could be, and in a lot of ways, like, when I played this game for the first time, I even tweeted, I was like, this might be the best game of all time. Like, it might take that spot on KOTOR for me. And while it has its fault, KOTOR has its fault, Mass Effect has its faults, I'm talking about some of my favorite games. This game was huge. I think that and the things that you could do, the mechanics of the game. I mean, go on TikTok or YouTube and just look at people and the way that they figure out how to play this game and use the mechanics of the bombs and use the mechanics of the fire and the glider. Like, this game is unreal as far as how complex you can have it be, or just how easy you can have it be. And it really takes a big departure from what I think a lot of people loved about the Zelda games, while keeping all of those things. I think that you can still play this as the way you played A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, but also have the freedom to do more. Next up, I have Halo/Halo 2. Once again, we have both. Why both? Just like KOTOR, I think you should play both. I actually am about to finish Halo 3 with some friends, Wes Singleton being one of them, because honestly, I've never finished Halo 3. But I think that a couple of things are true of this game. And like others in this game, I think that other games could have taken the spot. I think GoldenEye multiplayer could have taken the spot. I think that there are different Call of Duty games that could have taken the spot. But I think that the game is a must because it's pivotal in gaming. Like, it changed gaming. And honestly, of the games on this list, I think this had the biggest impact on making gaming more mainstream. In fact, I think that if you credit a game for making gaming mainstream, I think that Halo and Call of Duty are the games. Maybe Fortnite or Minecraft can help you do that as well. But this game, just huge percentages. I think that I don't know that I can express what it did to gaming. Depending on your age, it probably is the biggest impact that any game has had on gaming. Halo 1 was a phenomenon. Halo 2 was a phenomenon. And it really pushed gaming forward in a lot of ways. I think that the multiplayer for this game we're going to talk about this with Red Dead, but the multiplayer in this game is like, You do it for the first time in Halo 1, and you're like, whoa, you're like on Blood Gulch with 16 people or whatever was possible. I don't even remember off the top of my head. And you're like, what is happening? And then you play a multiplayer game with, 4 of your friends and for the first time, and you're like, what is happening? It was so different and so refreshing and such a change to gaming. The first game is called Combat Evolved, and it really did. It changed first-person shooters. It really built upon what things like GoldenEye did and just blew our minds. And also, I think it changed the pro gaming scene. I think that, professional Halo players do things that you just didn't expect, and I'm really happy for that. Like, obviously, not the impact of like League of Legends or stuff like that, but I think that it really helped push pro gaming forward, kind of like Melee did. Next up, we have the final game on my list, and you guys already know what it is. It's Red Dead Redemption 2. I just finished my first playthrough of the game. I do plan on playing this game again, and I was shocked, in all honesty. In my first playthrough, it was weird because, like I said, I had not played the first one, so going into this, I knew nothing about the story, and I fell in love pretty instantly. I remember walking through the snow for the first time and seeing on my TV the snow move with me, and it looked like I live in Utah. We have the best snow in the world. Colorado, I'm sorry, we have the best snow in the world. I posted a video on Twitter once where I was like, in case anybody's wondering what Utah snow looks like, and I scraped snow off the top of my car and blew it. People were like, was that real or was that like powdered sugar? I was like, that's kind of what it's like when we get our good snow. And that's what the snow looked like in this game. It was unbelievable. I'm not like a huge graphics guy. Like, I'm like, whatever, like, who cares? But just the flow of this game, it's a little buggy. I think that that's just going to happen when you get the number of times where my horse just ended up inside of the water trough or whatever. That happens. It doesn't bug me. I was impressed. It was smooth. It felt real. The story was way better than I expected. I don't know why. I think it's because, like, I don't know the stories in games that Rockstar makes are usually that good, but this one's good. And Rockstar makes great games. Like, Midnight Club 3 is, like, one of my favorite games, dub edition for the original Xbox. I think Rockstar makes really good games. I did not expect this good of a story from Rockstar, though. And in all honesty, I think that people knew that going in because they loved the story from the first one. The world was massive. I still haven't checked it all out. I tweeted this on my private Twitter, but I think that one of the things that makes a game great to me is that you're having so much fun that you forget to keep going on the mainline story. That you're having so much fun doing X or Y, collecting the money to get your next item, or in building games, building a new thing. I find it completely refreshing to play this game. For those who don't know, I was in the FFA. I am a complete cowboy stuck in the city. I'm a country boy that was raised in the city, and this game is a really great escape for me. I had a moment, as far as mechanics go. We'll get into mechanics for a second, but I had a moment where you're supposed to clean up manure, and as one of your tasks. And my wife walks in, she's like, "Are you cleaning up poop?" And I was like, "I'm in heaven. Like, I used to do this all the time. Like, I don't know what it is about farm work and about taking care of animals and exploring the outdoors on a horse and hunting. But I loved every minute of it. I loved the whole thing. And the world felt so real, and it felt like an escape for me. It took me a long time to beat this game. like years. Part of it is because it takes up so much of my Xbox space that as I moved on to other things, took a break from the game. It took me a while to decide to put the game, like right now, it's not on my Xbox right now. It'll probably take me a while to get it back on to play it again, but I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I escaped into this world. This is a game that I want to 100% one day. And it'll take me a really long time to do it. But it's that fun. And it's huge and massive. And exploring the different cities and getting to know different people. And it was unbelievable. I think that the completion of this game is something that a lot of people, if you've done it, should be proud of, because it tells you have this dedication to this world that it built, and I think that's really cool. So, why is it a must play? I think for me it's a must play because it literally changed what I believed was possible in video games. I've never been more impressed by a game. Not I mean the story has its problems, the morality system has its problems. The food system, the combat, the crafting, there are small problems all over the game. I'm not saying this is a perfect game. What I am saying is, oh my gosh, there's so much. There's so like and it doesn't feel bloated. Like the game doesn't feel bloated. It honestly feels smooth and clean, and I'm so shocked by this game. You can ride your horse in first person. Riding your horse in first person, like there were nights where I was in a bad mood and I just like I'm gonna go get on my horse. Finding, training, buying horses and raising them and bonding with them as you explore this world and hunting for buffalo or legendary animals, crafting new items. The whole thing was just obviously this game came out before Breath of the Wild, but maybe they came out around the same time. I'm not sure. I was shocked. It's one of the best video games I've ever played, and I think that you could beat the game pretty quickly. If you only do the storyline, you could probably beat it pretty quick. But I think you'd miss so much that makes this game great. I think that the post game, by the way, is something that was critiqued in this game, and it was probably my favorite part of the game. So, Red Dead Redemption 2 makes my top 5 must play games of all time. And that is the video, guys. You can find me at Spencer13H. You can find the podcast at Neat Nerd Pod. You can find just the channel and the network overall, the Heezy Game Media stuff at Heezy Game Media on Twitter. Don't forget to like us on Facebook as we launch that stuff again. Head on over to the Patreon. But once again, just hit that like and sub button. It means the world to me. Really quickly, I want to thank my editor. If you are looking for an editor, I will put his info in the show notes. He's amazing. Just absolutely amazing, and I enjoy working with him a ton. So I want to give him a quick shout out. But thank you guys all so much for watching today. Let me know your top 5 must-play games. If I haven't played one of them, I probably want to. So leave a comment, let me know, and we'll see you guys all next time. Next video will probably be a podcast, so check that out. My next video, actually, wait and see. Thanks, guys. Bye.